This is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God. Holy shit. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Phil, how the hell did you do this?
Keep seeing something pop up out there, but with the naked eye, I'm having trouble seeing it. I don't know if you guys can see it any better than me, but there's something popping up out there, I think. All right, good morning. Getting ready for the morning briefing, everybody. It's a beautiful morning here in SoCal. And we'll get rolling here in a moment. Hopefully dodge the rain. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. There's so much going on in SoCal right now. I mean, whale sharks being sighted. There's killer whales, orcas roaming around. There's some pretty darn good fishing going on. We've got a rainy day ahead of us, a rainy couple of days as the jet stream dips down into SoCal, kind of a feature of El Nino type years. And of course, we've got long-range fishing and fishing in Mexico. Bluefin tuna is going to get looked at here in Southern California again really, really soon. You know what time it is. Good morning, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. It's great to be with you. Oh my God, is that good and is it good to spend some time with you? And I appreciate you joining me every single morning. Thousands of you do it. Millions of views here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Over 10 million when you combine our social media on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And of course, we appreciate it if you could give us a like, subscribe to the channel, tick the bell, you'll be notified when there is new content, and share these videos with a friend. We would appreciate that. Man, this beach sand replenishment project is absolutely amazing. I mean, they've added so many yards to our beach here in Surfside that it's phenomenal. So, man, mankind's pretty good at mitigating these kinds of things when you have the beach rolling up on the houses one day and then seemingly the very next day, and it's been several weeks, but seemingly you've got really an improvement that is mind-boggling to myself and many of the residents here. All right, we got a lot to talk about. First of all, don't forget we are fundraising for all the goods that we are sending to Mexico. We've already gotten some stuff down that way, and we continue to take it down piecemeal, and then we're going to truck down a lot more. There's a link for our GoFundMe project in the show description. If you have it within your means to donate, that'd be fantastic. If not, don't even worry about it. I just had some great people come down to the office at 22nd Street Landing the other day with more toys and goods and clothing and wheelchairs and so much more, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do. All right, let's get into it because we're going to talk about local halibut, and we're going to talk about these orcas and all this other craziness that is going on here. Let's start you out down in Cabo San Lucas. Just continued great weather down there. Good striped marlin fishing going on down there. There's a few Dorado and pretty good yellowfin tuna fishing if you can find pots of dolphin or find that right jag of YFT down there. It's been pretty good. San Quintin area, great rock fishing 140 miles south of the border here. There's good halibut fishing at times, and there's been some good yellowtail action down in that neck of the woods. In the Ensenada area, big bonita, colorful rockfish, and also a chance at an occasional halibut or two. We've seen a little bit of that here the past couple of days in Ensenada as the Christmas spirit is all over northern Baja California. I love going down there during this time of the year. It's a beautiful time to be down there in that neck of the woods. On the long range scene, man, it's been absolutely a phenomenal fall. Remember, in the fall, you get these 8 to 11 day trips, and they go several hundred miles down the Baja coast. And it's the variety that really is so noteworthy about these trips. Tremendous variety. You catch wahoo, yellowtail, yellowfin, tuna. Some days you might even catch calico bass and sheep's head. Sometimes you might focus on the rockfish. And then there's some wide open marlin bites and so many other species when you're on those late fall trips out of San Diego, those long range trips, and they are continuing. Really great fishing going on. Yesterday for the Royal Polaris, they had good yellowtail fishing and fished some bottom stuff as they're working their way back towards San Diego, of course, to arrive by Christmas. And on board the Intrepid, they were all over the yellowfin tuna. having good catches of YFT on board the Intrepid. And there's several other boats that have been getting in on this kind of fishing. So really great fishing. Guys are working their way back toward San Diego. Now, the majority of the long range boys will get to San Diego and then lay in, of course, for Christmas. And then the very next day, December 26th, there's a slew of 5-day trips leaving San Diego. And you know, they're going to go out here and look around for our local bluefin tuna. When I say local, I mean Tanner Bank, Cortez Bank, 60 Mile Bank, 43. Or they may go south with the Polaris Supreme, found some fish down around Punta Colonet. That's 120 miles down the Baja coast. The point here is that we're going to have some coverage, meaning we're going to have a lot more boats out there, and that means we have a very good chance of finding some more bluefin tuna before 2023 runs out. My guess is they're going to find them and they're going to catch them. So be prepared on those trips with all the right tackle. Remember, 300 to 500 gram jigs at night, 100 to 130 pound Spectras, good 200 pound leader material will work really, really well for you. And then a variety of tackle for your daytime fishing. It's going to be really interesting to see what goes on. Hey, a spotter plane the other day saw a whale shark out near Catalina Island, which is pretty rare, especially during this time of the year. It's wintertime. Those things, those sharks, they're actually sharks. In fact, they are the largest fish in the sea. The whale shark is a fish, and it is the largest fish in the sea. You don't see them in this kind of environment because they're a warm water species. You know, a lot of people go to La Paz in Baja California Sur to swim with those critters, or, you know, places like the Philippines, all over the world where you find warmer waters, you'll find those docile whale sharks. But pretty interesting to see one here in the Southern California area. And everybody is wondering, does that mean that we're going to have all kinds of craziness up here? Because, you know, we've seen these orcas running around and we have whale sharks, and we're wondering, is that going to usher in a tremendous El Nino type of season? And only time will tell on that one. The El Nino is supposed to last perhaps into the summer. Some models have it deteriorating in the early spring, so you just never know. And then it's supposed to be followed by a La Nina. But man, you can take a coin and flip it as far as I'm concerned, because it's just too complex sometimes to try to decide where our oceanography is headed, as evidenced by my stellar albacore forecast every single year, which I have managed to get absolutely 100% wrong every single year. So there's a lot of factors involved here. We'll have to see, but interesting nonetheless to see that creature hanging around here in this neck of the woods. All right, let's talk that halibut bite on the Pride we mentioned the other day. They had a very slow trip on their last trip. They battled some really poor conditions. The water was kind of mucked up. There was a big swell, and fish just did not want to bite. I think they had one legal halibut out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, the other day on their last trip. Before that, about, I don't know, a week ago, 10 days ago, they had a trip with 55 halibut on board. Man, that is some great flat fishing, and we've seen some spectacular halibut fishing this year in Southern California. 2023 is one of the best years I've seen in a long, long time. And I think that's going to continue because of the evidence or the sheer numbers of market squid here in Southern California. There's market squid everywhere, at the islands, on the coast, on the banks. We're loaded up with that stuff. And of course, that's part of the food chain. And the little ones do come to eat the big ones, or should I say, the big ones come to eat the little ones. I'm all screwed up here this morning. Anyway, you get it. You know, they're coming in here to feed on all of that squid that is here in Southern California. And there's certainly plenty of it. And that's a magnet that's going to attract predators like halibut, white sea bass, yellowtail, you name it. It feeds on that squid. It'll get in here. So we'll see how the Pride does on their next trip. I believe they have a trip leaving Friday morning out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, bearing down on a full moon. The full moon is the day after Christmas on December the 26th, and those halibut have shown a penchant for biting on the full, so we'll see. Wouldn't surprise me. We're going to have some weather, as you can see. It looks a little ominous, but not bad at all. The wind has not started. If you look up toward the Channel Islands this morning, they're up there around 20 knots, and it's going to worsen from there. It's going to get nasty out on Tanner and Cortez Bank. We're going to have some wind in here also. But by Friday, things mellow out, look good, and then we roll into some really nice weather for subsequent days. It looks like after Christmas, we're going to be blessed with some really nice weather. So our halibut bite down the tubes on the last trip, but hopefully we'll come roaring back as we continue to watch that on the coastal areas. Very little time left for rockfish, so you want to take advantage of that. Of course, up in the Channel Islands, that's where we see some of the best rock fishing in Southern California. Ventura Harbor sport fishing. A few more trips on the Endeavor, I believe, with Tucker McCombs. You can join him. Nobody does it better than the Endeavor and Tucker. Unless you look at the California out of there, they do a great job also. And the Island Spirit with my good friend Cody Rogers. Great place, Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, 805-676-3474, or wherever it is, somewhere down there. And I'll tell you, man, they do a fantastic job up there. And again, Rockfish closes on January the 1st, and then it doesn't open again until April, so you better get out there and catch them. Unless you're thinking about going south of the border, where in Mexican waters, the rockfish season will remain open, and that will open the door to a lot of trips going down to Punta Colonet. Remember, we mentioned that to you, 120 miles. But these boats will not be focusing so much on the bluefin. I mean, if there's bluefin around, they're going to catch them, but they'll be more focused on catching all that great rockfish that abounds down there, big lings and reds and everything else, and some really great yellowtail action at times, not all the time, but some big time forky action down there on nice grade yellows, usually on the yo-yo iron. Other ways also, it can get really good. So we'll be looking forward to trips like that. And you know, with all these signals about an El Nino, we may have an early bite on those yellows down there for sure. If you have good weather on a normal trip, you're going to come home with a lot of great eating rockfish. When you can top it off with 100+ yellowtail on the deck of the boat that you're on, that's great stuff. Daily double limits of sand bass down there out of San Diego. Point Loma Sport Fishing on the morning half day boat. They also had some sculpin and sheep's head and calico bass to go along with that. What in the heck is wrong with that as we're rolling up on Christmas? Pretty darn good. And as we move you up and down the coast, rockfish, as I mentioned, but also guys that are fishing a little bit more shallow are catching some whitefish and sheep's head. The Victory had some really good fishing here recently. Robert Gossett took his little guy out with him out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, and they had some special fishing and special times and memorable moments for sure. The El Dorado out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, they had a group of, they look like really nice guys, don't they? And they had a lot of fun out there catching bottom grabbers indeed and having so much fun. So that sounds good to me. Really good stuff there. And up and down the coast continued good rock fishing, but just a few days left to go. And the surf, man, this looks prime. Now, I am fishing the surf here pretty darn soon. Got to, man. Look at this. It looks so beautiful right now. And all this dredging they're doing to move all this sand up here on the beach. I found a Pismo clam. It was giant the other day. I haven't seen one of those here. I don't know if I've ever seen one that size here in Surfside. That was awesome to see. Anyway, the point is they're dredging all that stuff up here. And of course, all those birds and fish are feeding on some of that stuff. So this looks good. Chrome crocodile, lucky crab lure. That could pick you up a nice halibut. There's a little bit of barb perch around. Glenn Salas says, man, these wintertime barb perch really pull hard. Glenn, nice fish there. Thanks for showing that off. So there's barb perch, a little bit of yellowfin croaker. Halibut, definitely a possibility right now. Is you know, those flatties are not only biting at the islands for boats like the Pride, but they're on the beaches also in that kind of late second kind of spawn that they're going through, that late second showing that they're making here in Southern California. So hopefully we'll see more and more of that. And also there is some really good trout fishing going on at many of the local lakes. They've upped the amount of times that they are stocking some of these places like Miles Square Park, like Alondra Park over there in Torrance, California, Kenny Hahn Park. So there's a lot of stocking going on right now, and it's a great way for you to get out with the kids and have some fun. Grandpa take the kids fishing. And remember, you can find out when, basically, they don't give you the exact time, but the trout plants will give you an idea on the Department of Fish and Wildlife website here in California. You can check that out and hopefully you'll be able to run those little devils down and have some fun with that. Lobster hoop netting still excellent, and they are going to crawl after this rain and wind. Man, you have some weather like this and the days subsequent to the weather. So let's think about this. Saturday-ish, probably going to be a great crawl. Those langostas love to crawl after that. So we're looking at hopefully some good local fishing here for the lobster, as well as mostly Catalina, which has been spectacular. Cat's been really great for lobster this year. PromarAhi.com. Don't forget PromarAhi.com. Put in Friedman 10 at checkout, and you will get a 10% discount. All your surf fishing needs down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, right there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway, a stone's throw from where I am standing right now. Man, I'll tell you right now, you can take advantage of some great sales down there. Pick up your surf fishing baits. They've got a myriad of different baits. Once this weather goes through, there probably is going to be some good surf fishing around town here. You can get all those baits right there at Big Fish, and you can get all your big game tackle also. If you're fishing bluefin or marlin or anything else, they've got it for you. Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. Tomorrow's Thursday. That's the Danny Cadota Show. Special time and special show. 4 p.m. live. We are going live tomorrow with Danny and his special guest, Steve Yatomi. Steve is just returning from fishing the Amazon basin. Talk about fantastic. We're going to be talking about all kinds of crazy species and adventures. It's really amazing fishing the Amazon. And Steve, he has fished around our big, beautiful world. If you have a question about a place in the world that you'd like to fish, I'll bet Steve will have an answer for you. That will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. 4 p.m. live show. You can ask Steve, you can ask Danny any question you'd like, and they will be happy to answer it for you. All right, it's gorgeous, man. It's really beautiful. I send you all my very best, wishing you a Merry Christmas, sending you my love for happy holidays. Hope you are doing well with family and friends, and as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friends.